Hello, hello. This is the my artifact episode number 3700 and 3780. No, 3700 and something. I'm not really sure. I will gonna rename that thing. Alright, yeah. Today's date is December 23, 2025. It's been almost like a morning at 8:24 a.m. Alright, the sun is actually behind of me, and I wanted to kind of like experience the sun and heat and things like that. So that's why I'm kind of like a sitting, kind of like that. I should supposed to be sit in front of the sun, but it kind of I wanted to warm my back and things like that. So it's yeah. And by the way, this kind of like it worked really well. Like basically, if I just do here, it just my face is completely blank, but if I do this thing it just brighten up the entire thing and kind of like yeah. If I have the camera which kind of like supports the HDR, then it kind of like do something like a it not only have information on the background, but it also have information regarding about the foreground too, which is somewhat something really good. But this is not a kind of like a fancy camera, it's just kind of like simply just a normal mobile phone camera. Whatever, let's just jump into the question. All right, yeah. All right, the question is, what if your favorite book predict your life? Your favorite book predict your life. First of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is what if question. Why am I asking this question to myself? What if question is always really interested way to you the answer. It kind of like a force you to think about that reality. When I try to think about that reality, or when I try to create that reality, I'm kind of like utilizing my knowledge and information and experience that I've been through, and somehow it kind of like a felt good. It kind of like a felt good. I don't know how to supposed to explain, but it like when I use this information in front of my brain, it felt good. Okay. Disclaimer: the information that I'm trying to tell you is not exactly right or is not exactly wrong either. It's a raw, it's unfiltered, it's just my opinion. So do not believe in any kind of like information that I am saying, or do not seek for any kind of like information that I'm saying. It's just my opinion, and opinion are subjective. Alright, now regarding about the question says that what if your favorite book can predict your life? First of all, do I have any kind of like a favorite book? Well, probably I don't have any kind of like a favorite book. Like I just started reading last year. Yeah. Before that, I never really read that many things. Like basically, in my entire lifetime, I didn't really have any kind of like a single book, because basically what I'm trying to tell you is this, Nana, you have to understand where am I came from. Okay, I'm came from kind of like a local city where usually people are here are kind of like a very kind of like a common, they are kind of like a doing things that kind of like a matter to them and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing, if you are kind of like a somebody such a person who are kind of like a somebody from big city like a New York, or like any big city, any big city has a kind of like a different influence regarding about what kind of like a some people they are and what kind of like a thought process they should supposed to be have. In here, okay, yeah, usually reading a book, or kind of like a going to the coffee, or kind of like hanging out with the people and things, these are not really common out here. It's common means like that it's existed, but it's not common that much. Okay, yeah. And basically for me, regarding about the reading a book, it's kind of like a somebody's this thing is usually that key. Like we just have kind of like a syllabus, we just have already have kind of like education books and things like that, textbooks and things like that. Why do I supposed to be read a kind of like a something like different book? Okay, yeah. Like I should supposed to be read my textbooks na. So like basically is this thing na ki reading a book is not even a thing that I just like I don't have that kind of like a things like basically my surrounding never really tell me that how much kind of like a reading is impact. and as well as kind of like a somebody I never really wanted to be read it because no one kind of like a mentioned me how much it kind of like a things and that last year means like a basically since 2024 I kind of like a realized the importance of reading and started kind of like a reading books. Okay, yeah, and I'm not really kind of like a reading kind of like some sort of fancy books and things like that. I'm reading kind of like a somebody the book that I wrote like the my artifact like basically the stuff that I'm kind of like a recording here, uploaded all those kind of like a YouTube uploaded on the YouTube platform. Okay, YouTube create the subtitle. I copy that subtitle, put it in the chat GPT, make it fun to read, make it things like that, and it kind of like creates a paragraph which kind of like a really good. I copy that data, paste it into Google Docs, print that entire kind of like a Google Doc and kind of like a read. Okay, and I have so many episodes by the way, almost like a 4,000 episode. Okay, which is like this there are 4,000 episodes, so there are too much data that I have. And another thing is that I haven't really kind of like a suddenly consume my artifact because usually what is actually happened that I just record the artifact and I never really looked at that thing. I'm actually doing this thing for almost like a 10 year, and I haven't really listened nothing really at all. Yeah, but because of this kind of like a assembly making the book like a because of this kind of like a from the subtitle to kind of like a paragraph to kind of like a print and read and things like that, because of this thing I'm kind of like started reading a book, and I realized the value of read. I realized the what kind of like assembly stuff happened when you kind of like read a book and things like that. It's kind of like getting so much warm. Let me okay. All right. Okay, that is good. Yeah. This is good frame by the way. Yeah, it's good frame. Kind of like hitting the sun from this angle. But I need a sun. My leg. I need. That is good. That is good. That is good. I have to settle like this. Okay, yeah. This is good. Okay, yeah, this is kind of like a really good frame. I just have to. Okay, yeah, that is somewhat something really good frame by the way. All right. So this is what I kind of like something know about the books and things like that. Okay, I am not really that much haven't read that many book. Okay, yeah. Till now I haven't. I'm kind of like reading my books. I'm not reading that many different kind of like a book. What kind of like a genre do I like to read in a book? Genre means a type of book. Like some books are mystery, some books are kind of like a something friction, some books are kind of like a something the real base and things like that. What kind of like a books do I like? Well, I didn't really experience that many book. Okay, there are so many different types of book, but I haven't really read that many of books. So I'm not really sure, but I think that I like books. I like. I don't really like that much friction book. Okay, yeah. Uh, I think that I haven't really read that many, so I haven't really read that much kind of like a fiction book. So I'm not really sure. But like I'm just kind of like somebody new in this kind of like a reading book territory. Okay, yeah. So I'm kind of like somebody just understanding myself that what kind of like some book do I like. If someday I might gonna read friction book, then I might gonna like friction book. But till now I just kind of like somebody just reading my book. Okay, yeah, at the moment. Oh yeah. Whatever. So the question is actually about that what if your book can predict your life? Okay, yeah. So what exactly is this question? What is exactly is this thing? The question is kind of like a represent a very different form of personality, different form of kind of like, it's a the question is a kind of like a simply understanding the factor of you and things like that. Okay, let me tell you the couple of things. Okay, yeah, let's just imagine that ki your life is already written by, if you are kind of like a person who actually believe that he everything is actually wrote in your life, there is nothing really change happened, there is a lot of monkeys are here. If you okay, if you don't really see it, okay, yeah, let me say, okay, yeah, have you ever seen it? These are a lot of monkeys, but probably you might not gonna see it because the sunlight is kind of like a blocking you and things and that. And by the way, I'm actually recording from the selfie camera, so probably it's not gonna, yeah, whatever. And we have a lot of monkeys over here. Okay, yeah. So what was I trying to tell you? Huh? If you are kind of like a such a person who are believe in kind of like a you are believe that ki everything is actually wrote, like everything is actually wrote, that ki your life is completely wrote and things like that, and you just kind of like a following the kind of like a things that kind of like a wrote, and who actually wrote that thing, a god or probably. So basically is this thing now, if you think that, if you believe that ki everything that you wrote, there is nothing is actually in control of you and things and that, then probably is this thing you are kind of like a living the life as a predicted life. Okay, yeah, or kind of like a somebody such a life that you think that ki someone wrote for you and things like that, but in reality that is not. Okay, yeah, like basically it's this thing na ki, like I never really believe that ki my life is kind of like a written by somebody, never really at all. But I kind of like simply writing my own life. Okay, yeah, I took all the decision. Okay, yeah, okay, let me tell you my point of perspective. Okay, yeah, I'm 32. Yeah, till now I'm 32. In 2025 I am 32. I am living with my parents. This is my parents house. Okay, I am sitting at the rooftop. Okay, and I am not earning any amount of money, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah, I'm completely broke. Yeah, and and you kind of like suddenly judge me a lot of things that ki, dude, you haven't really like you are 32 and you are not earning any money, and that, yeah, that is true. Yeah, I'm not really earning any amount of money. And did I blame myself? Well, yes, I blame myself. Yeah. And like, do you think that it's actually happened because of that ki you kind of like made a mistake? Yes, I believe that it actually happened because of I made a lot of mistakes in my life and things like that. Okay, yeah, but I am not regret of it, or I am not kind of like a somebody is this thing that ki, um, like I'm not blaming myself. Like I think that na ki this should supposed to be happen. Okay, it is kind of like a somewhat something really essential thing that it meant to be happen, and I think that it's it's good, it's okay to have that thing. Okay, because I don't know, I realize like so many thing in my life. Okay, yeah, because of that na ki I made a mistake, I realized my mistake, and I try not to do that mistake again. Okay, I figure it out and try not to do that mistake again. I kind of like kept doing it. Yeah, I'm kind of like still doing it that, and because of all those things I realize what am I could supposed to be, what I am capable of, what I can able to do. Okay, yeah, because of the mistakes that I did, I realized myself that what can I should, so like I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. Okay, yeah, because one thing for sure I'm gonna is this thing that ki my life is not written by somebody. I am actually writing my own life. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of like facing all those problems and things. All my kind of like parents are kind of like telling me that you are kind of like a fucked up your life and things and that. But I think that that is okay, dude. That is kind of like a thing that if you wanted to achieve something bigger in your life or something, I don't know, this stuff should supposed to be happen with you, and I think that it's okay to have that thing. It's okay thing. Okay, yeah, whatever, this is just my thought process, but this is just no, this is just kind of like actually my thing. But the question is actually about that ki what if your life became like what if someone like what if someone kind of like somebody Okay. I just understand the concept of the question, but I don't really understand the concept. Okay, I don't really understand. Okay, the question is actually about, okay, what if your favorite book predict your life? Okay, yeah. What exactly is this thing? That let's just imagine that ki you are like a basically someone kind of like a wrote the book about you. Okay, yeah. You are the center of attraction. Okay, yeah. So whatever you do is kind of like a written on the book. Okay, yeah. So basically what exactly is this thing that key you you are kind of like a tied up by multiple things. Okay, yeah. Let's just say there are so many things will gonna happen, good thing, bad thing, and things like that. And basically is this thing that key you cannot able to be control your life in the way that you should supposed to be. Okay, yeah. We are not, we are human and we are not happy all the time, we are not sad all the time, we are not kind of like a something like that ki tense and tension all the time. We are we have this kind of like a somebody that sometimes now we just don't really have nothing. Okay, yeah. And if we have don't really have nothing, what kind of like a somebody stuff that kind of like a present in the book? Nothing na. Okay, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing na ki basically is this thing books or any kind of like a movies or anything are kind of like a written in a such a context that kind of like a somebody people or people who could supposed to be read the book or view that particular cinema or things like that, they don't really feel that they are waste of time. Okay, they feel that ki whatever actually happened in the character's life should supposed to be happen fast, like a multiples of emotions, sad, angry, happy, and all those kind of like some emotions that happen back to back and things like that, incident after incident and stuff like that. Like, I am kind of like a telling you example. Have you watched the movie named Avenger Infinity War? Okay, yeah. In the Infinity War, things are happened so rapidly. Okay, yeah. Like this fight after this fight after this fight and after this fight and after this fight. And this is the Avenger level of threat. Okay, yeah. And everything happened so fastly. But in reality, it does not happen like that way. Like, take a Russia and Ukraine war. It's been almost like a 4 year, yeah, and still that war is actually happening. Oh yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, na, ki like the things that you kind of like a listen or things that you kind of like read on the books or see on the cinema, those are kind of like a somebody the a kind of like a presentable way to how to a kind of like a somebody way that viewers point of perspective, that what viewers watch and what viewers kind of like get attention and things and that. But in reality things are very late, very mellow, very normal speed and things and that. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a things, that's why most of the books are kind of like simply written in that way. Now if you are kind of like imagine that ki you are the center of the character and the book is kind of like written about your life, then you are in your life there are so many things actually happen. Okay, yeah, good thing, bad thing, stuff actually happened. Okay, yeah. Like within a 2 minute you will kind of like a became from kid to grown person. Okay, yeah. But in reality this is not gonna happen. It's not. Another thing is that na ki um, because of if such thing was gonna true, then probably your life is gonna end it so quickly, so rapidly. Okay, another thing is that na ki you cannot able to be do things that you wanted to do, like because like let's just say that ki you just wanted to kind of like spend time at somewhere for a while, but book does not kind of like let you do this thing because book are kind of like a made up for the viewers and viewers are not letting you kind of like stay there or kind of like being boring and things like that. They just wanted to kind of like things happen fast and fast. So if you wanted to sit at kind of like a sort of coast area and things like that, it does not work. It does not let you do this thing. So it's a kind of like a things that now you are not controlling your life, the book will control your life and things like that, and this is kind of like something not good, things like that. Okay, yeah. So like I don't know, yaar, how do I supposed to explain this thing now? Everyone wants to be attention. Like let me tell you, I also want the attention too. It's not really that, and every human wants attention. And why is that? Because let me tell you one thing now. We have couple of things that we need. Okay, yeah, food essential, shelter essential, clothes essential, right? These are the three essential thing. But there are also another things are kind of like only matter. It's not essential but matter. What are those? Money matter, respect matter. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you one thing. Respect is a kind of like a things that very matter, because we are social animal. You and me, we are human and we are social animal. And our thought process change according to the surrounding area, according to the people that we are living through and living with this thing. Yeah, it kind of like a shape or personality from the people around you. Okay, yeah. And basically is this thing na ki what is exactly one thing that matter to us? Our respect. And we are not kind of like a wants to kind of like a hurt or mistake or things or that, because it's what our character, it's what who we are and things like that. And if someone says that you are fucked up person and things and that, we are kind of like somebody really hurtful in that, very hurtful in very much wrong way. Yeah. So this is what it is like a respects are matter. Okay, yeah. So if the people who are kind of like a giving respect, that is good. Okay, yeah. Now fame or being famous is a upgraded version of getting respected. Okay, yeah. Like basically if you are kind of like a respected person, might be couple of people in your surrounding might gonna know, but if you are famous, then probably millions of people will gonna know because of your work and things and that and that. And being kind of like a somebody is this thing, being like a, like everyone wants to be a, that kind of like a famous person, because who knows, yeah, everyone wants that, everyone want to be famous and things and that and that. Like literally is this thing na, I in my life I also kind of like a jealous of couple of people. Okay, yeah, which are kind of like a somebody really bigger that I can't even kind of like imagine that way above myself, like a Justin Bieber. Okay, I don't know why, but I born in 1993. Justin Bieber actually born in 1994. Okay, yeah, he's kind of like a 1 year younger than me. Okay, yeah, but like basically it's this thing na ki he achieve in his life so many things that I just feel like that, oh my god, he just like a very big person and things and that. And also I kind of like realized that I wanted to be kind of like a somebody being that respected person. I wanted to be that kind of like somebody such a person who is a kind of like a being famous and things and that and that. And that's why I'm kind of like imagine as a rock star or pop star or kind of like a singing in front of kind of like a millions of peoples and things and that. Because and like I'm not the only one who is kind of like a thinking that way. You are the kind of like a person who kind of like think like that way too. And it's a kind of like a some human tendency that we just wanted to be kind of like a somebody, a life that kind of like everyone respect. Or even if there is like a no food at all, or if, even if that if you even if you know that ki while you are kind of like a singing or kind of like a singing in front of the millions of people, you will not get any food or things, or you might not get sleep, but that is all okay. You will gonna sacrifice all those things, but respect and kind of like a being famous is just like I want that thing. Okay, yeah. Because yeah, we are all humans and we are all social animal, and this is what kind of like assembly we face things. Okay, yeah. So this is what it is, dude. Okay, yeah. And sometimes now we can't control, sometimes we can't control our emotions. Like no one kind of like thinks that ki his life is kind of like somebody just a mellow and kind of like things that nothing really happened and things. By the way, if like each and everyone life is kind of like a somewhat something mellow, in reality they are kind of like somebody just a mellow person, nothing really at all, they're nothing really changed in their life, kind of like a doing the normal thing and kind of like yeah, nothing happened. But what they think about themselves, that ki they are the center of their attraction and things and that. And yeah, that is true. And you also think that way, I also think that way. It's a part of human thing, it's a part of who we are and what we are. So yeah. Now regarding about the question says that ki, what if your favorite book can predict your life? Then probably if you think that ki, if your favorite book can predict your life, then you doesn't really have any control of anything about you. Okay, yeah. Because book can determine everything about you. Book can determine that ki, when you will gonna feel sad, happy or excited or things or that and that. Okay, yeah. And somewhat something people want that thing, but in reality it's not happened. It just, I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. It's a very weird in itself. It's a very very I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I just wanted to understand the concept, but sometimes I don't understand the concept because I don't know. Yeah. Whatever. This is it. I should supposed to be end here, and thank you.